Welcome back to the series, everyone. The Stay Ready So We Don't Have to Get Ready series that I am committed to completing at least, I'm going to just say 7 days. 7 live videos in 7 days so that we can stop playing around. We can do all the research that we need to do to make whatever decisions that we need to make. I've said it in every other video and I'll say it again. Freedom is in having options. Perfect. If you don't have any options, you don't have any freedom. So the goal of this series is to really just give everyone options. Should things go awry? Or should you start feeling um, overwhelmed, start feeling anxiety or depression or extreme unhappiness, then we are going to, make sure that you have all the tools and resources necessary so you can definitely have some options and lead yourself to freedom. Today was hair wash day. Forgive what's going on. I didn't even get a chance to finish twisting it, but I said I am not going to stop. I said I was going to do this every day. This is the time that I had available. And I thank anyone and everyone who is watching. Let me just try to, I need to clear that off a little. Okay, perfect. So today's topic, let's just get into it. Today we are going to talk about eight safe and affordable, eight safe, affordable, and fun cities that I think should be on everyone's list of places to research, just as a plan B or a plan A, depending where you are in this journey. And so I just want to start by saying a lot of times people just don't believe that, and I know why they don't believe it, but they don't believe that most of the cities, well, all of the cities that I'm going to reference today that are in within Mexico, which is North America. Many people, when I even have that conversation with them, they're like, oh, that's Central America. No, Mexico is North America, just like the United States. But yeah, many people don't even realize that there is more violent crimes happening here than that happens in the cities in Mexico that I'm going to discuss today. Also, many people don't believe that you can literally live very comfortably on a fraction of what you're spending or what your expenses are here in the States in many of the places that I'm going to go over. Now, not every place is super duper affordable, but every place is less expensive than the major cities. I live in New York. Um, if we're looking at the major urban areas in the US, definitely much more inexpensive. And we're going to see real life examples. I'm going to put these cities in and compare it to a couple. Well, I'm not going to do all of the cities, but I'm going to put some of the cities in, give you the resource so that when you are ready to start doing your research, you can do the research on your own as well. And so I just want to make sure that the video is working. You're perfect. Yeah, it's still working. Okay, so the other thing we're going to talk about is the fact that there are eight cities that we're going to, well, I'm going to do a bonus, but there's 8 cities that we're going to discuss today that should be high on the list. But I do want to underscore, not every city in Mexico is created equal. And not every city in Mexico would I say would check the boxes of places that um, are safe, right? They may be affordable and they may even be fun depending on what you're into, but they are definitely not high on the safety factor. And another criteria that I wanted to make sure I included, the cities that I'm going to list are walkable cities. So there's no need to have a vehicle, no need to have to worry about bringing, a scooter or a Vespa or anything like that. You can walk to most places. And the places you can't walk, they have rideshare. So if it's not Uber, it's Didi, and you can get around at a fraction of the cost than you do here, again, in the States. And I'm also going to link my experiences in Mexico. I'll link one here. One will probably be at the end. I may even do it in the comment section because I've stayed in a few of these, 3 of these places, and well, technically 4. And I do believe that all of those places I could see myself really living in. My determining factor has a lot to do with weather, and that's just my preference. But what I prefer weather-wise may not be what you prefer weather-wise. Weather-wise. So I'm going to give a little variety. And so I guess let me just make sure. Oh, and another point that I wanted to list now, when I say that these places are fun, understand the closer that you are to the tourist areas in these places, you do run the risk of having unpleasant interactions, not necessarily with the natives or the locals, but understand a lot of snow bunnies go to some of these places, Canadian as well as American, and some of those snow bunnies may have very different viewpoints than you, and especially with the results from a week ago, there may be some less than happy moments that occur more so now than ever, but you just need to be aware of it and keep it moving. So I also wanted to share that well, thank you to everyone who's already purchased the From Here to There resource guide with, what is it, 8 countries that should be at the top of everyone's list who wants to start their research process and begin looking into, oh, where could me and my family find joy, peace, happiness, and a great quality of life. I am going to keep the link, and I think I may have already put it in this time. So in the description box, you will find the link to From Here to There, and it includes 8 cities that we went over on Monday. Anyway, we went over it a couple days ago, and I wanted to make sure that there were clickable links for anyone and everyone who wants to quickly get the information without having to do their own research. There's everything from health insurance, from moving resources, language resources, housing, and more. So definitely, if you're interested, it's on sale until the week of Black Friday. It's inexpensive, under $13 right now. And so, yeah, check that out. So let's get into the cities that we are going to cover. And I want to pull up the details for each place. And I'm just going to go in alphabetical order. No ranking, no, this place is better than that place. I'm going to explain to you exactly the difference, some of the differences. Oh, that's the wrong list. Hold on one second. Here we go. And so we're going to start off first and foremost with Cancun. Now, a lot of people may think of Cancun as a very popular vacation destination with a lot of sweeping resorts and hotels, all you can eat this, parties that. But there's a huge expat community. There's a large Black expat community that also resides in Cancun. And the great thing about Cancun is it's a really, really, really soft landing because, one, you're close to an airport, very close to an airport, an international airport. I believe it's like less than 2 hours from Florida. I know for me, it's just over 4. And there's a lot to do. You have 5-star to 7-star restaurants. You have, of course, the beaches, but you have a whole host of other places that you can visit in a short, during a short trip. So from the cenotes to um, some of the other destinations that we're going to go over in a second, but there's a lot to do no matter what age you are. So if you're looking for someplace that's not too packed, the population is about 900,000 people, which is not, crazy. Um, Cancun should be on the list. And when it comes to safety, you know, I like to use one criteria when I'm telling a story, like how many mass shooting or mass, pyung pyungs happen in the US every year. Well, it's a lot more than any of the places that I am going to list. Well, maybe except one. Well, no, mostly all of them. So Cancun has about 2 every year. And, those tend to be related to things that most of us are not involved in, right? So if you're going anywhere with illegal or bad intentions, then anything can happen. But as far as just a average person moving their family, across the border and having their kids in school, none of these happen in school, right? None of them happen in school. A couple may happen they may happen at a nightclub, or they may happen, someplace where there's activities going on. And so, as it relates to the safety score, very high. As it relates to the fun score, extremely high. And as it relates to cost of living, we're going to use it. We're going to use Cancun as an example moving forward. I mean, in a little bit, but we're going to go through the other cities first, and then we'll come back to Cancun and show you exactly what the cost of living comparison is. Compared to, I'll use a couple of cities so you can see. And let's talk about the weather. If you're looking at the hottest month, that would be August. Now, the reports say it's about 90 to 94, but it can get warmer than that, especially when you factor in the humidity. It can get really, really, really hot. But in the wintertime, the average temperature, low temperature, is about 64 degrees. Isn't that beautiful? Now, you may get a couple days where it may drop to high 50s, but you're not going to have snow. You're not going to have frigid temperatures. And so I highly recommend Cancun to put on your list of places to research and entertain. Also, number 2 on the list would be a city that I fell in love with and had no idea that I would. Guadalajara. And when I speak about Guadalajara, I'm also including Lake Chapala area and Ajijic. These are technically, it's about 40-45 minutes away driving, but they're technically all in one. So if you're looking for something that has a quieter pace, a slower pace, maybe you're looking for people more seniors, or not someone, but a community that can skew a little bit older, then Lake Chapala and Ajijic. Beautiful, 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 but does have more of an older skewing demographic, more retirees, whereas Guadalajara is lit. Guadalajara is lit. And there's always something to do. It's not as busy as like a New York, in the sense that it's not really congested, but there's always something to do in a city of 5 million people. Actually, I believe Guadalajara is the second largest city in Mexico as far as population is concerned, density, and the first we're going to talk about in a minute. But Guadalajara, I first went in 2022. I was scheduled to go, December 2022, and stayed for a few months and literally fell in love with it. There are so many different energies that the city brings. There's the um, eclectic part of Guadalajara called Colonia Americana, and it's very like urban. It's kind of like the village meets Soho, kind of, sort of. And if you know anything about New York, you know what that means. But so yeah, so there's Colonia Americana. Then you have Country Club and Providenciales, which is more upscale, urban. A lot of banks are located in those areas. The cost of living is higher, like the rents and housing costs are much higher. It's not far from, there's another area called Midtown, which has a huge like mall and movie theater. And yeah, there's various parts. There's to Tlaquepaque. I mean, there's so many different parts of Guadalajara that can satisfy anyone's desires. So definitely, if you're interested in going someplace that has a lot to offer and a decent sized Black expat community, I will say I didn't find the expat community there to be as active as other places I've been. But the thing about it is, like, if you go to the mall or if you're hanging out, you're going to run into people and then you'll make your own type of hangouts, right? But I can't, they're good at answering questions. I will say, if you have inquiries or need any information about things going on in the city, then I definitely recommend joining their Facebook community. And like I said, there's over 5 million residents between Guadalajara, Lake Chapala, and Ajijic. And I'll actually, like I said, I'll include a video that gives you, one, my first impressions, two, some of the experiences that I had. I don't think I posted, I don't know if I posted my experience at to the town of Tequila, which is about an hour away as well, but it's actually where tequila is made and where tequila comes from. If it doesn't come from this region, then it's not tequila. You're not drinking tequila. So I highly recommend considering Guadalajara. When it comes to, you know, the crime and the mass pew-pewings, then that number is about 2 to 3 as well. Once again, it I haven't heard any pertaining to tourists or regular people that are just going to visit. They usually have to do with other business. So again, nothing related, nothing happening in the school system, and there's a big population, not a big, but a decent population of parents with kids that have relocated to Guadalajara as well. When it comes to the weather, the hottest month is May and averages about 93, 94. It's also rainy season around then as well. And then in December, the temperature can go down to 46. I will say I was there in January and we had like a 39-degree night. So anywhere, you know, upper 30s to the 40s is your low temperature. And cost of living is amazing. Like I said, if you, depending, you have something for everyone. If you want to live in the expensive part of Guadalajara, then you can. And then they also have more affordable options. So yeah, let me see. What is the next one? And again, give me a second. I'm gonna go through these a little faster so we could get into the examples. So we went through, oh, we just went through 2 so far. Oh, forgive me. We're gonna kind of expedite the next 6 or 7. But the next one on the list in alphabetical order is Merida. Merida is a city of over 1 million, about 1.2 million in the immediate metro area, and has a huge expat community, a very large Black expat community as well. For those of you that haven't watched the other videos, next week, the edits are happening now, the final edits, and I want to make sure all the links are working. But next week, I will include a link to the all-encompassing I don't want to say the name just yet, but it's going to be the Bible of relocating and expat information with most of the major cities. I believe it's about, right now it's probably like between 50 and 60 cities. Once the links and everything are, confirmed, I'll be able to confirm the final number, but it should be ready to go the end of next week. And all of this information will be included and much, much more. And so if you're looking for anything from the immigration offices, if you're looking for realtors, if you're looking for whatever you're looking for, will be included in this resource. And again, next week, it should be ready to go. So we're talking about Merida. Now, the one thing about Merida, it's safe. We're going to check safe off the map. They may have one pewing annually, but it's usually zero. And so you can't get, more safer than that. And Merida was ranked the most safest city in Mexico quite a few times. So if you're interested in Merida, if you're interested in someplace safe and cost effective as well, Merida should definitely be on the list. Now, they're also known to be extremely hot in the summertime. Like, people do not go outside, do not leave their house, do not even think about doing anything until the nighttime, because Merida is known for their heat. And people have left Merida because they thought people were playing. They thought people were just, exaggerating when it comes to the heat in Merida. They're not. Merida is extremely hot in the summertime, even though they promote temperature about 93 degrees as a high in May. No, it gets much warmer than that. And again, that is pretty much what they're known for. People know about the heat in Merida. It's not too far from Cancun, though. I will say the good thing about it is, like, if you have options of flying in there, and now they have a train that goes into Merida. There's options for travel there, but if you are adverse to heat, if you have health related issues that heat will compound, then I say no to Merida. Outside of that, high on the list. In January, the low temperature is about 66 degrees. Next on the list, alphabetically, is Mexico City. Now, Mexico City is a city that is, population-wise, larger than New York City. Currently at about 9.2 to 9.3 million people living in the Mexico City metro area. It's bustling. It is bustling so much that it's not on my list, because I am leaving that. Like, I live in a city where there's a lot of traffic. I live in a city where there's a lot of noise. I live in a city that's just busy all the time. And I could come back when I want that, but I definitely am not looking for that. And safety wise, although for population size, it's considered safe when it comes to the mass pewings. They can average about 40. Now, their definition of mass is 4 people or more. So we're not talking, a movie theater. We're not talking a school. We're not talking a cathedral. We're talking 4 people. And so the average number of mass pewings in Mexico City is about 45. And again, that could be 4 people. And it's not, you don't hear about it being tourists. You don't hear about it being expats. You hear about it, people doing things that this is a side effect of that type of behavior. So nothing to really be fearful of. Overall, it's considered safe. I know quite a few people who have either lived there. I visited there. The airport alone is just too big for me. I have no desire to have to deal with that. But it's a great city for anyone who's looking for, again, quality restaurants, quality activities, lots of things to do, and a huge community of expats. Weather is beautiful. In May, which is typically like the hottest month, May, June, you're looking at about between 86 and 88. Now, you do have some heat waves and things like that, but the average temperature high temperature is in May, June, and it's about 86 degrees. Low temperature is about 45 degrees. It could dip a little lower than that, but again, these are all averages. Excuse me. Number, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, so number 5 on the list. It's actually, so I'm just deciding how many I'm going, because this is coming from the resource guide I was telling you about. And I have in Mexico alone about 32 destinations, and I'm only giving you guys 9 tonight. So I just want to make sure I give you I'm giving you the top 9 today. You can wait for the resource guide. You can wait for the book to get the rest. But I just want to make sure I'm giving you my top. So you know what? Let's go ahead and let's do Oaxaca. Oaxaca is high on the list for me because for multiple reasons. It's a foodie's paradise. It is someplace that is known for their unique cuisines. They're also known to use things that we don't eat here in the States. But if you have a eclectic palate, or if you're willing to try new things, Oaxaca is special. It's also a place that you'll find a lot of darker hued Mexicans. I'm just going to say Mexicans of African descent. You will find in and around Oaxaca as well. There's a university there, and the city alone. So if you look at the city of Oaxaca, it's 300,000. But if you look at the entire metropolitan area, it's about 1.5 million. Tons of things to do, less touristy, which I kind of like. But that also means that less places you'll find people that speak English. Whereas the other cities that I listed, so Cancun, Guadalajara, kind of Guadalajara, Merida, kind of Merida, and Mexico City, you'll find it won't be as hard for you to find people who are bilingual and are willing to speak English. So Oaxaca is a beautiful city, and they have great art and tapestry, just a beautiful city, and a decent size expat community. All of this information will be included in the resource guide, the list of expat communities, all of that. But when it comes to safety, another pretty safe city in Mexico. And like I said, lots of fun. The criteria was safe, affordable, and fun. Affordability wise, more affordable than the other places that I named so far. And when it comes to the mass pupilling, you're looking at 1 to 2 per year. And again, doing things that people shouldn't be doing. And so, yeah, the temperature though, it gets warm in in April. It starts getting warm in April, and we're looking at over 90 degrees starting in April. And then the coldest month is January with a low of about 45 degrees. And I'm going to go through the next 3 really quick. So we went through Cancun, we went through Guadalajara, we went through Merida, we went through Mexico City, we went through Oaxaca. Technically, there's 4. The bonus, I'll do the bonus if I remember after I do the examples on how you can check to see the cost of living comparisons. So next on the list is my home away from home, Playa del Carmen, which has a population of about 300,000, but it is growing. It's probably much higher than that in the last year. Yeah, it's growing a little too fast for my liking because, of course, that means prices are going up, and less supply means greater demand and higher prices. So, yeah, 300,000. I'm going to say, I've seen somebody say they expect, I think, 500,000 by the end of this year, I want to say. But I love it. It's very walkable. If you stay within the center of town. Now they have what's called across the highway, which is also known as the jungle, and that's less walkable. But there's cabs, there's what they call the colectivos, which is their bus system. There's ways to get around. Me personally, I like to walk to the beach when I want to. So when it comes to, mass pewings, we're looking at 0 to 1. Remembering the definition of mass is 4 or more people. Um, and I always feel safe. The city is like New York in some ways. Nighttime, it goes, I mean, you could be at a restaurant till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You can be in the center on Fifth Avenue, all types of, in the evening and not really feel any type of way. Like you don't feel threatened or, like, oh, somebody's about to get me. Great jazz bands, great music, great food. It's just so much to do, tons of things to do. So I highly, like I said, recommend Playa del Carmen as a top choice. Now, I don't like Playa in the summertime. I'm not going to lie. Playa in the summertime is just too hot. And when I say summer, I'm talking about starting in the end of May. Or technically, yeah, because I was there this year for my birthday. Yeah. There were some super humid days, and I could stomach a few, but I don't know, to have to do the whole summer there, I couldn't. I don't see myself doing that. But again, if you can stomach the heat and the hot weather, some people grew up like that. Some people grew up in Florida, so they're used to, or Texas, and they're used to that type of heat. So I definitely recommend Playa to be added to the list. And let me see, let me go through 2 more, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So next on the list will be a place called Puerto Vallarta. Now, I personally would recommend Puerto Vallarta because of its, again, it's a city that has just a lot to do. It's ocean, it's coastal, even though it's the west side, it's the Pacific coast. It's coastal. So if you're into beaches, that's fine, but you could go up kind of into the mountains. There's just a lot of options. There's great restaurants, great resorts. The people, that's where I've noticed like there's a distinction. So a lot of snow bunnies from Canada as well as the US, California, visit Puerto Vallarta during the winter months. And I feel it feels less authentic from a Mexican standpoint to me. But for some people, that can be a soft landing, right? That can be, you don't have to worry about speaking Spanish. Getting around is really, really simple. And so, again, to each his own, but I would recommend it for people who are looking for a soft landing. Now, when it comes to cost of living and affordability, it is not inexpensive. I mean, the further away you get from the water, the ocean, then yeah, you could probably find some more deals. However, it's costly. It's costly. And so, but from a safety standpoint, the pewings are less than 1 to 2 every year. And again, no schools, no movie theaters, nothing that we're accustomed to here in, the States. And then from a weather standpoint, we're looking at August being pretty much their hottest month, just over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and January being the coolest month, lower 60s for the low temperature. And then finally, we're going to talk about another small town, which is on the rise, San Miguel de Allende. And from a population standpoint, it's really small. So if you're fine with, under 200,000 population, seeing a lot of the same people, depending on where you live all the time, then, I would highly recommend. And it's a community, which is a great thing. So if you're looking to build community, there is a strong expat community, a very strong Black expat community as well that gets together often, or at least I think monthly. So I would definitely recommend checking out San Miguel Day I N Day. And that's when it comes to safety, I just want to make sure I cover everything. When it comes to safety, I already said under 200,000. When it comes to safety, we're looking at 0 to 1 pum-pums, mass pum-pums every annually, which is beautiful when you think of, odds being stacked in your favor. And then from weather standpoint, May, it starts to get warm. It says it's the hottest month with 88 degrees as the high temperature. It may get a little hotter than that. And then when it comes to the coldest month, January, with a low of about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The rest of the cities that I was thinking about adding, so we talked about Cancun, we talked about Playa del Carmen. There's also, Tulum, and there's also Puerto Morales within the state of Quintana Roo. So I don't really want to waste time doing that today, but those are other places that you can look up and look into. Tulum, I'm not a big fan of living there. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of living there. I think things are way overpriced. I think it's too trendy right now. You're not going to get the biggest bang for your buck, but the other cities the other towns on the outskirts, like Playa del Carmen, Puerto Morales, Cancun, I think those are better choices. So again, the entire resource guide will be available next month. There will also be a Mexico only resource guide that will be available. It's available now. I just haven't added it. So I need to add it between tonight. I'm going to finish washing my hair tonight. So tomorrow it will be available, and I will include the link. So let's go ahead and check out. I definitely want to check out the resources, the cost of living resource. So give me 1 second to pull that up. I thought I had it up. And we're going to do a comparison. Well, not now. Okay. So I have to share this. Give me 1 second. I keep forgetting how to share. Okay. So I have to present. Share screen. And here we go. Share. And then I need to add to stage. There we go. So this is the website. This is a free resource that you can use to compare cost of living between different cities and different, cities internationally, all the things. So we're going to do an example or two right now. Hold on 1 second. So what you do is, let me read what it is. Numbeo is the world's largest cost of living database. Numbeo is also a crowdsourced global database of quality of life data, housing indicators, perceived crime rates, healthcare quality, transportation quality, and other statistics. Now, if I mispronounce the name of this site, y'all know what I'm talking about. So we are going to select, where did I say? I'm going to do Cancun, right? So we're going to do Cancun, Mexico. And we're going to compare it with, let's just do New York to start, right? So we're going to do New York. I already signed up on this. I'm on a different, I'm on a different daggone. Okay, so what I need to do is take this off screen for a second so I can sign up again. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay, perfect. I'm on a different Google page. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring this back up. Add to stage. Here we go. Okay, so let's read what it says. Cost of living comparison between New York and Cancun. Cancun is 61.4% lower than New York without rent. Cost of living, including rent, in Cancun is 72.1% lower than in New York. Rent prices in Cancun are 85.5% lower than in New York. Restaurant prices in Cancun are 58.6% lower than in New York. Grocery prices in Cancun are 57.5% lower than in New York. And local purchasing power in Cancun is 55.3%. And just to put that, let me get rid of this. Put that in comparison. I want you to know right now, today, the Mexican peso to dollar conversion is, I think is it 20? I looked the other day, it was like 20, but it changes every day. So I just want to make sure. It is, why are they asking me to sign in again? Yep, it's 20 for every $1 US you're supposed to get $20.50 right now. And so the cost of living there the conversion rate is spectacular. So let's go on a little bit more about the cost of living. So if you look at a restaurant that in New York that would cost you $30, in Cancun it will cost you under 10. If you are looking at a meal at McDonald's that'll cost you $12, well, it's McDonald's, so they're gonna inflate the price at any touristy area, but it's under 10. Domestic beer, a pint is $9 in New York, $2.21 in Cancun. Let's talk about eggs now. I was in the store yesterday and the eggs were much higher than this. They were like $7 and change. And so let's just go with this because maybe it's not updated today, but that same $5 carton of eggs will be $2 in Cancun. Bananas, a pound, $1 in New York, 69 cents in Cancun. Transportation, and you could keep reading this. Again, the name of the site is numbeo.com, and it's a cost of living comparison. You could also find crime statistics and all of that other stuff. But utilities, that's what I wanted to go to. And I wanted to go into, if you look, ciao, we are being hoodwinked and bamboozled. So let's look at a mobile phone plan with only 10 gigabytes and data. 10 gigabytes of data. You're looking at $69. In Mexico is $21, which is almost 69% savings. Internet, you're looking at a 55% savings. Basic electricity, which includes basics electricity, including heating, cooling, water, and garbage for a 915 square foot apartment. In New York, it's $178, so they say. I don't believe that, but it's $103 in Mexico. Let's do rent. That's what is really key. So if you're looking at a 1-bedroom apartment in the city center of New York, you're going to pay $4,083. In Mexico, you're looking at $683, which is an 83% savings. Like, come on, y'all. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Being hoodwinked and bamboozled. That's what we're doing. But anyway, if you're looking for a 3-bedroom apartment in the city center, so I guess they're saying near and around Manhattan here in New York, we're looking at $8,500, $8,600. And then in Cancun, we're looking at just over $1,000 Now, if you're looking outside of the city center, both of those numbers drop, but it's still an 84% differential. And then they talk about home, like if you're buying an apartment per square foot, 90+% differential in Cancun versus New York. And then salaries, well, we're not working there unless if you're a resident, you can't work there. So we're not going to worry about that. But we can do other cost of living. Let me see what time. It's 7 o'clock. How long have I been on here? We'll do one more. No one put any comments on what they want to check out. So I'll just pick another place. So let's do Merida. Let's do Merida, and I need a New York, a US destination. So let's do Merida, Mexico, and we're going to compare it with, let's do Atlanta. A lot of people are in Atlanta. And again, cost of living in Merida is 49%. Can y'all see this? I want to make sure. Yeah, okay. Cost of living in Merida is 49% lower than in Atlanta without rent. Cost of living, including rent, is 56% lower than in Atlanta. Rent prices in Merida are 79.2% lower than Atlanta. Restaurant prices are 49, let's just say 50% lower than Atlanta. Grocery prices are 53% lower than Atlanta. And local purchasing power in Merida, of course, is 70. It's always going to be lower. And then let's just go into the rents. Let's just see what the rent is looking like. So if you live in the city center in a 1-bedroom apartment of Atlanta, you're looking at paying $1,900 a month. In Merida, you're looking at $557 a month. A 70% differential, 71%. Ciao. Maybe the heat's not too bad after all, huh? And then if you're looking at a 3-bedroom, you're looking at over 3,100 in the center of Atlanta, where it's just over $1,008, or let's say $1,009 in Merida, which is a 68% differential. Still just it's ridiculous that we are doing what we're doing. But I understand, most of us make way more money here than if we were, getting salaries in Mexico. But if you start your own business, if you have your own business, if you can work from anywhere, if you're retired, if you're close to retiring, this is the time. Now is the time to go ahead and start researching. If your next move is going to be your best move, I think we all should be considering what's next for us. And we have to start normalizing that maybe the dream, that American dream, there are restrictions that apply to certain people. And so we need to normalize that, and we need to talk about that, and we need to organize. That's why I'm so passionate about doing this week, because I know the changes that are coming. Well, I don't know them, but I know there are drastic changes that are coming. And planning is the only way to stay ahead of them, right? To stay ahead of what is going to happen. And one of the ways to plan is to make sure that you have options. Make sure, and I mentioned this already, we're going to do a video. I'm not sure if it's tomorrow or Friday, but a video about what's going on with the State Department passports. I just literally, let me see if I could pull it up. I just literally got a notification today. I renewed my passport. Right now, it's a 4 to 6 week. They're saying wait time. That's expected to drastically increase. So we need to get our passports in order. At least with those, for the most part, you can, get visas to other countries. But most importantly, Americans are least likely to have residency or passports in another country. And there are many European countries, even African countries, that just comes with the territory. You have multiple passports or you have multiple residencies. So you have options. So my mission with this series, the Stay Ready series, is to make sure that we have options. Listen, even if you don't want to leave the US, you know, what's your option? Do you have another city? Like, do you have someplace else just in case, right? Just in case. Or do you have a community that you can align with so you can go someplace else just in case? So anyway, with that being said, I don't think there were any questions. Let me just see if there's any other thing I want to comment about. Yeah, no, we definitely have to normalize and organize, period. Like all of this, you know, we built this, we can't leave. Listen, Harriet Tubman left. Harriet Tubman sent people to Canada. Harriet Tubman, they sent people to Mexico. We've been doing this. This is nothing new. And some troll was on one of the comments, and one of my beautiful supporters, thank you, I forgot your name, started, responding. But I'm like, listen, people are always going to have something to say. People are always going to try to knock you off your square. Stay focused. Stay focused. Don't listen. Don't pay attention. Do what you got to do for you and yours and keep it pushing. A lot of these people, they're going to be okay. They're going to be all right. They're not being targeted, right? And so I just want us to, get our ducks in a row. We'll be okay too. So again, check out the from here to there resource guide. The link is in the description. Check out the consulting. I do consulting as well. I'm probably only going to do max probably like 10 throughout. I'm gonna try to do maybe 2 a week. But the one thing I noticed, all of my clients, 90% of them don't look like me. Everybody else is getting their ducks in a row. We need to, that same energy, we need that, and so listen, I'm gonna take a client if they want the information that I have, which is a lot, and I keep up to date with it because I want to share this information with people. But I want to see more of us taking action. And if you don't need to, consult with someone to get get the work done, then fine, just get the work done. But for me, I'm the type of person, I also need accountability, and I like easy. I like people to package things and deliver them to me. So if you are looking, for a consultation on getting your Mexican residency with ease, not your citizenship, Mexican residency with ease, the link is in the description. Right now, it's $25 savings that will end on December 1st. It will go back up to the regular price on December 1st because it's labor intensive. This is specific to your needs. We talk about exactly what, you don't have to give me any personal information, but we talk about, your timing. We talk about what cities you want to look in. We talk about what your passions are. Like, what do you want to do? Are you looking to be near a golf course? Are you looking for good weather, whatever? And then we talk about the immigration process. I walk you through how to get those appointments, how to get approved, because there's a lot of tips and tricks that I learned from my peoples in Guadalajara, in Playa del Carmen, in Puerto Vallarta, in Mexico City, that people don't understand, and some have been denied because they don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. So this is and then you walk away, like within 72 hours, you have a fully laid out plan on how to, get that first appointment quickly, and how to get your paperwork in order. So much more about that. We'll talk more about that when on my next video. But I'll be back tomorrow. I think I'll be in the morning tomorrow because I have some afternoon things. So probably I'm going to post tonight what time I'll be on tomorrow live. But you can always catch the replay. And I thank you for tuning in today. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Listen, let's normalize and organize that we have options, and we're going to take advantage of them. So thank you for tuning in. And I will see everyone on the next video. Take care. Oh.